Yes, now family ammo, welcome back to another video. Welcome back to Jazza TV. Today we're going to talk about what it's like making weight for amateurs and the dark side of making weight. And I've covered this topic before in a slightly different way. This one was inspired by the podcast I've done with Daniel Chapman, done here on the channel. Go back and watch that podcast. Daniel Chapman, bare knuckle world champion. He did fight for England. And he fought for Great Britain, I fought for England, he fought for Wales. And we were on a Great Britain team together. And Chapman told me when I went and seen him a few weeks ago when we was in Marbella, he told me that he had an eating disorder from boxing, which he spoke happily spoke about, and he wants to share that message. And so did I. So, like, how it can lead to eating disorders. I went into a boxing gym, not just like I was quite chubby. I had like Love Vandals, my second fighter. I was lighter than my first fighter. Obviously that said that I was overweight a little bit, so did say naturally got the weight down. But back then the nutrition was like, what shall I have for me dinner the night before the fight? And the coach used to always say, just have beans on toast. Beans on toast was always the shout. But a lot of fighters and a lot of people go into the sport not knowing where it can lead. Now it happens so subtly, you don't see it happening, how you can end up in this situation. If you have a predisposition towards any sort of illnesses, likes of addiction and stuff like that, this is a message to them people, because I think that a lot of people, I believe anyway, a lot of people are addicted to something or something of some sort in some way, even if it's really strong dependency. But I think that we all have these things in life, don't we? So yeah, this is the predispositions towards addictions and stuff like that, and how it can lead to disorders, eating disorders or not eating disorders. And I don't know what's worse, who knows, but yeah, it happens so subtly. So you get told, right, you've got to fight there, just lose that little bit of weight, and the kid starts losing weight, and when the kid loses weight, he gets a bit of praise. Simple, he's happy with that, isn't he? And he can say, next time I'll get a bit more praise, and then there's a queue of kids waiting for the scales. All the kids have to get weighed, and whoever's weight is the best at the time, coach will probably just give him a bit more praise, as he probably deserves it, and also to let the other kids know you'll get that praise too if this is the way you act. I was always the one overweight, always then, always will be, always am now, and that's just the way my body is. But coaches back then, I don't think they knew much, and I still don't. I think it's dying off now, and coaches are getting a bit more awareness on it. But genetics and like body types, people saying like, cause you're 5'5" and he's 5'2", he should be heavier than you and stuff like that. They were judging weight by height a lot back then, and they were matching kids up by height and stuff like that. So it was just madness really, because everyone's got a different percentage of like body fat, different percentage of muscle, bone mass, and there's a lot of things to consider. Some people hold on a lot of water more than other kids, so that's just the way it is. But it's not a one size fits all. But what has happened is the kids start getting given a bit of grief, and it leads to like a bit of punishment type of behaviour, not physical obviously, but mental punishment for the kids, and that's how, and it gets a little bit more like that. And then the championships come around, and coach says to you, you're not going to win the championships if you're giving a bit of fear tactics, because it's true. You're not going to win the championships because you're not big enough at that weight. You're going to have to get yourself down. The kid might make the weight in time, so all of a sudden the black bags come out, bin bags. But what's that for? What's the black bin bag going to do? Kids, I always tell them, do never ever put that black bin bag on, because once you start, it's like you've opened Pandora's box. The bin bag, you lose a little bit of water, it's great, you keep the water off that night, you get on the scales the next day, you've made the weight, and what you've realised, you've rehydrated. But now if you do that to the excess, you're bigger than these other kids, because you're losing water whereas they're losing fat, and you kept your fat and your muscle, and now you're bigger than them kids, so to speak. So yeah, that once you cop onto that, then the world opens and you start wondering, so I can do that a little bit more, and I can stretch it a little bit further and a little bit further, and then the kids start going beyond what they should be doing, what they can be doing, and they start affecting performances. Therefore, they say, I won't diet this week, I'll start my diet next week. Although they know they should be dieting, they give themselves a little less of a prolonged diet. Instead of dieting for 3 weeks, they diet for 2, and because they know they'll use that bin bag at the end, and it's worked before, so it'll work again. And while you're winning, it does work, but when you get beat, that's when you realise it doesn't work. But it creates a vicious cycle, because what happens is, once you take that bin bag off and then you weigh in and then you fight, the next day you're in such a dehydrated state of mind, and when the body's dehydrated, it craves electrolytes, and electrolytes will be found in food, and the things that like salty food or sugary food or quick snack foods, the body just knows it's junk food basically, but the body will start reaching for junk food and to get a quick to put itself back into, you know, a neutral state, homeostasis. So it's very, very dangerous, and it's so easy to do. And then that vicious cycle starts, and not only does it become after fights, before fights, then it gets a bit worse, and it goes before the gym and after the gym. So then the gym, you go to the gym at like, I was going to the gym for years dehydrated because I knew I was going to get on the scales, and I was just in such a vicious cycle, and everyone's calling the kid, you little fat fucker. The kid's not, he's skinny, but in comparison to everybody else, he is fat, and he's the fat kid. He's got the habits of the fat kid, only he's skinny, but he can develop this mindset. I don't look good, and then body image comes into it then, which is a very sad thing for a lot of kids. And then all of a sudden the kid starts looking at the scales, and then he starts associating the scales with his performance, and then now that's tied in. So he doesn't get his kicks from how fit and strong he is and all the work he's put in. He's looking at the scales, and the scales are telling him that he's doing the right thing, because it becomes so distorted. It's sad, really. And then not only that, they get on the scales and then they look in the mirror, and then they associate the scale, the weight looking good, now they've got abs, or the weight's down and they haven't got the weight on them, with the performance, and it all becomes distorted into one. It's like body image dysmorphia, and you can say that, oh, I've got a little bit more weight there. Our coach used to grab us by the hips, no matter how skinny he was. He used to grab you by the hip, he'd make sure he get a grip of your hip and go, look, you've got loads of fat there, you get that off. He's great, Georgie Trevor, this was our coach. No matter, he grabs skinny kids by the hips and say, you've got loads of fat on your hair. It was great. I didn't develop the body image type of thing, thank God, but you can see how easily it happens, especially now with girls being in boxing. Girls can pick that stuff up so easily, and yeah, so then it develops a little bit further. I'm getting rags here, aren't I? It develops a bit further then.
Hello mate, okay. Wouldn't mind taking the next left over here when you can.
Bastards.
Got a driver's license with you?
That is allowed, by the way, isn't it?
You're not getting a ticket for it. Try not to, okay? The other one, much more obvious. Got no headlights on, mate, that's all.
Have I not?
Have you ever used or taken any controlled drugs at all?
No.
Recent, years ago, anything like that?
No.
Fine. Have you had a drink at all recently?
No.
Fine, good. Jump out, have a seat in ours. Feel free to bring your phone if you want to, or you can leave it there. You'll be on your way in a second, it's not getting taken off you, that's alright.
I can touch the phone now, can't I?
Huh?
I can touch the phone now, can't I?
You can now.
You know what, I was doing that video the other day and I just totally forgot. So here we are, about 2 days later. Anyway, the fella said to me, it's not illegal as long as you don't touch your phone. You're in the grey area. You can have a phone on you, you can film while you're driving, you can just, it's just like you're having a conversation with someone, but he thought I was on FaceTime or something like that. Maybe he thought I was on FaceTime to me twin. But anyway, back to the topic. What we're talking about is the weight cut and how it can lead to issues down the line for fighters. Youngsters come in the gym, they haven't got a clue what they're going to experience with making weight and how it can affect you. So yeah, it can be very damaging to people, and they grow up and I know a lot of fighters, these are the dangers of making weight and stuff like that, because a lot of fighters, I know now, have retired or they don't box anymore. Not so much retired, like they boxed as a kid, a youngster, and then they swerved boxing at the age of like 16, 17. But they still eat now, like they ate when he was just come off a diet. They can't help it. The diet is terrible. They opt for like the types of food changes, because when you're making weight, sometimes when you're trying to keep your weight down, you opt for food with no water content in it, which is light, so you're not going to weigh heavier on the scales. Because if you eat like crackers and light food, then you can have a drink. That's how fighters are thinking as youngsters. So it can be damaging, you know, and it can alter your own mind around food, and then you can become a food addict, which is it's a real thing. And it's easy for someone to say, like, you know, is he just a fat fucker? He should just go and train, or you should just stop eating, stop putting food in your mouth. And it's easy to say that, isn't it, when food's not your problem. We all have problems, and we're all powerless to something or something around that. What I spoke about earlier on in the video 2 days ago. But yeah, it's a real thing. Food addiction, sugar addiction. It's the first substance that anybody is given in life, isn't it? Hopefully. But like when you're unhappy as a kid, people say to you, don't they, this is what I learned in the fellowship at Overeaters Anonymous. This is what, when you're a child and you get upset, and your parents will say to you, won't they, yeah, cheer up, have a sweet. So it's like self-medicating with a substance, and that's the first substance, and people can start associating that, like sweets, to making you feel better. Or, you don't know, someone's like family member has been away for a long time, he comes home, come on, I'll take you to McDonald's as a treat, and you start relating McDonald's with your loss and your pain, and then when you're in loss and pain, you start going to McDonald's, that type of behaviour. So it's so easy, isn't it? So you shouldn't judge someone when you see them like massively obese and overweight, because they don't want to be in that situation. They just they just ended up that way through circumstances. So like any addiction. But I'm going all over the place here, aren't I? I'm just talking about making the weight, but I've ended up nearly getting nicked. Come back to a video 3 days later. So yeah, thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe to the worst content on YouTube, and you have a lovely day from Lambo.